All right, hello everyone. I just want to preface this video by saying that I am not a media person. I am just doing this video because I think it's relevant, potentially, and I do upload videos and content to YouTube, but that usually centers around video game stuff and not live, real life stuff. I'm not the media. I'm not Mike Postle's buddy. I don't know anybody involved. I live on the other side of the country. I do YouTube and I've played poker for a living for 15 or 16 years, okay? And I just want to preface that because this is an awkward video to be making because I don't know what my audience is. I have no clue. It could range from anyone. And that's always a dangerous thing to do, and putting yourself out there in the public, and I'm just trying to preface that by saying, hey, I'm just me. I'm just a dude in my house watching fucking Mike Postle play like everybody else, okay? I got pretty engaged with this whole situation this week. Like I said, I do YouTube. So I'm obviously engaged with Twitch and things like that. I play poker for a living, so therefore watching and hearing about live streams on Twitch and poker is pretty normal. So that's kind of how I got caught up in it. And I've been pretty captivated by this whole thing. Like, I've followed stuff with Joey Ingram. I've seen Doug Polk's videos. I've seen articles that people have written. I've heard opinions of hand analysis from some of the best players in the world. I've heard Mike Postle defend himself. I've got it all, right? I've got it. I'm caught up. And obviously, there's a lot of evidence that this guy's cheating. Okay, so, but the problem is that 90% of that revolves around hand analysis. And the problem with hand analysis, it can only go so far, or how much money he's won, and numbers and all that stuff, because he can turn around and say stuff like, well, I didn't win that much because they changed this, and I didn't, I drank 3 glasses of wine before I made that play, and, I just wasn't folding, or, I just felt like that neither of them had aces, and I just jammed my pair of nines with the 5 kicker into their faces after a 4-bet that I cold called, and it's just, whatever, guy. You can just say whatever you want, right? Like, and how do you know? Nobody believes you, but at the same time, nobody can say that you wasn't drunk and you just fired it, right? And that's the problem with, like, relying completely on hand analysis. But obviously it's an important piece of the puzzle, and it gets you at least to be able to say, yeah, there's nothing to see here, let's not waste our time. But there obviously was a lot to see here, and so we've all wasted our time. And so I decided during this process, after I kind of watched hands on my own and was doing hand analysis because I thought it would be beneficial to just, it's poker that I haven't seen, and I was just, it's good to just sit here and watch poker, right? And like do hand analysis yourself and think about things. And so that's, I did that all week. And then I was like, fuck this. Like, there needs to be something else, right? Like, and I just started thinking about this logically. And I was just like, okay, if you're cheating, right? Like, then there had to be a point and when you were cheating and when you weren't cheating, unless you were cheating from the very, very beginning, which means the entire show's rigged, and I don't even want to go down that road. If he was cheating at the very beginning, I don't even want to know. I'm done. Like, it's because I don't even want to know who's involved at this point. And all of the conspiracy theories are open if he cheated from the very first show. But likely that isn't the case, right? Like, if you're cheating, and even if you had a plan to cheat at the beginning, you're probably going to come in and get comfortable. And so I thought, the best place to go, because if you want to find out whether this guy's cheating and you want to find out when he's cheating, then you need to find out when he's not cheating. And the most likely place to find him not cheating is the very first show. And so that was kind of my idea. So I downloaded all of Mike Postle's videos from Stone's Live. Okay, no life. And I took the whole week off from playing. And so I took them into Sony Vegas, and that's what you're pretty much watching here. What you've been watching. And I chopped those up, like the first session, I chopped it up and took out all of the clips of Mike where he put money in voluntarily. Didn't keep any of the hands where he folded. I didn't care about the hands. None of that mattered. All I wanted to do was see Mike Postle play. just him. Cut off the commentary, get rid of the waitresses, get all the blah, 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 all the hands and how much he bet and all the analysis, and just throw it all out the window. I want to just sit here and watch videotape of that guy sitting at a poker table. I want to see how he's sitting. I want to see where he puts his hands, where he puts, does he lean forward? Does he do this? Does he do that? Where's his phone at? Blah, blah, blah. Like, not even, like, looking for anything specific. I'm just letting him sit there and just taking it in and just seeing what he looks like and how he acts and behaves, right? And so I did that and fast forwarded, and I clipped them together so I could fast forward them, and then I went to session 2 and did the same thing to it and put them all together and fast forwarded, and then put it back with the first one, and then fast forwarded through both of them and just sit there and watch Mike Postle play poker. And I kept doing that, and then I started cutting it down because I was like, this is getting a little repetitive, so I made it the beginning, the middle, and the end. Took hands out of a session because I figured if something changed, I'd see it if I took the beginning, middle, and end, right? And nothing. Get to July 18th, okay? And on July 18th, I skip to the end of the video, and I see that his phone's off the table, and he is in the middle of a hand, and I'll start watching the hand, and he has the exact look that he has in 2019 videos. And I'm like, that's not the guy that I just watched. So if I would have never seen any of the Mike Postle hands that I'd seen from the beginning, and I would have started this from the very beginning, and it's the only hands I had ever seen, that moment at 2 hours and 1 minute on July 2018, something happened on that day. Something changed on that day, and it never changed back. And you can make up stuff about being drunk. You can say that you grabbed your crotch because you got some medical issues. You can tell me you're drunk and you jammed into this 4-bet. You can explain how great of a poker player you are. You're the most winningest player in history. You can do none of that matters. None of that matters when it comes to what changed on July the 18th at 2 hours and 1 minute. Why did a player who's never taken his phone off the table in 6 months start putting his phone in his lap for the next year and a half? That's the question that you can't say you got drunk. You can't say that you just did it. You can't say blah, 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 blah. Like, there's not a really good explanation. I don't know how you explain it. You might even say something like, well, thought I was giving off tails and I was trying to change the way I was looked and this and that or whatever. But you did this for 6 months and never budged an inch difference of how you play. That was only 6 sessions over that 6 months. But wouldn't we see a progression of you working on changing something about your physical demeanor at the table and stuff? Like, where's all the laughing, joking, ha ha ha, grab my head, look in my lap, put my hand in my lap? Like, you didn't have that medical condition before July of 2018 or whatever it was you were talking about in the podcast? Like, I don't get that, right? Like, I don't think anyone's going to get that when you see him play for 6 months and then see the clip when he puts the phone down in his chair and then double checks it when he goes back up there. And from that moment on, multiple hands all the time, multiple sessions, and just it gets worse and worse. And by a year later, 4 months later, he's got nicknames. And a year later, he's considered God. You know what I mean? And you start, you look at that and you're like, well, what does it really mean though? Like, is there anything else here? Well, what does it say when you don't play but 6 sessions over the course of the first 6 months, but then you play 7 sessions between July 1st and August 3rd, and it just happens to be that July the 18th, you started putting your phone there. So at the same time that we see the first change of any kind of body language or where his phone's located and that type of thing. And the keys were on the table. So if you go back and look through all this footage, the keys are on the table with a phone in a hand that he gets caught bluffing in. So I think you can maybe potentially regulate the keys out of this thing. I think you can negate it out. So, you go look at the clip before he did that at 201. And I'll show some of that stuff now. But how do you explain not playing for 6 months and then all of a sudden you play every day at this place? And it just happens to be the exact same time that that your phone thing starts. And it never ends. And you never stop playing there. And you just make all this money after that point. $27,500 in 7 sessions after. Average of $4,000 per session after you start putting your phone up. $800 per session before. Even though it's a small sample size. I get it. But the fact is that your phone being on the table is not mathematical. It's not an analysis. It's not an opinion. You can't explain it through drunkenness. Maybe you can for one session, but not for a year and a half, and not after you just did something like that for 6 months. And, you look at the winnings, the timing of it all, the increased frequency that he's playing. You look back at the 3 bets that he calls before July 18th and compare those to the type of 3-bet plays that he makes when he's cold calling 3 bets and 4 bets after July 18th. Go look at the session before 201. In the same session on July 18th, before 201. Look at the plays there, and then look at the plays after. I got some of those clips. Excuse me, it's a long video. And I don't know what else you can expect anyone at this point to take from that. I just don't know how that's not the most important moment of everything I've watched. All the hands. Cut all the hand analysis out. Cut all of it out, like I said. Cut it all out. Why the fuck is your phone in your lap? Why the fuck is your face in your lap? All of a sudden, for the first time in 6 months. Yeah, I've seen you pull off a sick bluff, but holy shit. The same session after the 201 mark, you pull off like 3 in half a session when you've only pulled off 1 in 6. The announcer even said that's the first time or the second time, I think, in the stream that I've ever seen anyone check raise bluff someone on the river. They even know it's out of the ordinary when you did it before July 2018. Fast forward a year later, they're expecting you. They're like, this guy's going to check raise bluff him here 100% because that's the only play that the God can make. The difference between the announcements, the commentators, post 2018, July 2018, and pre-July 2018 aren't even the same. And I just feel like that is the pivot point for like everything in this. And, I'll show some clips and then I'll be done. Okay? Because that's pretty much the gist of it.
Sort of line I'm taking already anyways at this point. Like if I make a move now it looks extra fishy because I already looked genuinely upset about whatever card came, flop, turn, river, etc.
What's she gonna do? She's really tanking here over this decision. Rightfully so, because she does have the best hand. Mm-hmm. She's gonna make the call.
Get it, girl. Wow, what is
now the
this
question
turn's
is,
gonna be crazy.
What does Mike P do on the turn here? Does he continue to fire when both his players behind him have called him on the flop? But
Mike P does not feel good right now. He does not like this at all. He is like, danger, danger, danger.
Let's see if he goes into danger or not.
That is not a bad turn for Mike P.
You would think, but what are these players calling him with?
Very true, very true.
So, he's got to possibly put 4s in their range at this point when they call 225, that they could have some random 2 pair or like a pair with a draw.
Absolutely. I'm putting my opponents on some sort of 4x straight draw all day. 4-5, 4-6, ace
look at
4.
him. Look at him go.
He's
beast. So good. Beast mode. And this is going to get through. This is going to get through right here. It looks so strong. Veronica is not going to continue any longer with her draw. Alicia, she's got ace high essentially. And I think this is going to get through.
That's a great bet. That's
God,
a super great bet. And you know, if Veronica folds, I mean, it's got to follow through to Alicia. She's probably going to fold too. Yeah, Veronica does get out of the way. And you can't blame her. Even if you have a decent hand like Veronica has, you still have a player behind you who clearly tanked heavily on the flop, who you know has some sort of decent hand, and I don't want to be involved. So great fold by Veronica as far as I'm concerned. Just, I want to get out of there. I don't want anything to do with it. And kudos for Alicia. So many players in Alicia's position just would have insta-mucked on the flop and checked out here. But she does have the best hand. It's sick. It's 88%. But she's facing a healthy, damn near $500 bet, approaching a 2K pot.
Yeah, and she already lost a really big pot earlier. So I think that also could be playing in her head, her earlier losses. I don't know if it is or not. But, yeah, she does fold.
And Postle
the hand
gets
there.
it through.
Wow. He does not show it.
Postle ain't showing nothing. He says you can see that one on TV, folks.
Not to Veronica.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink with Jake.
I know you are.
But
Jake's in Toronto with
But it's to put up with Jake.
Oh, trust me, I understand.
I drink because I enjoy your company. Him, I have to drink just to put up with
I
this.
feel like you're lying to me. I feel like you're lying to me right now.
Why? See, this is why I'll beat you at poker. You don't understand.
Someone won the pot from the button.
Yes, they did, and looks like Arthur is trying to win this with 4 high.
Jimmy Buffett loves me. He didn't say anything about you.
I already know Jimmy Buffett loves me. He doesn't need to say anything. He can boost your ego all he wants.
I believe tonight we are going into overtime. Are we not? Is this really going into overtime?
Justin said about 4 hours ago they were going into overtime.
Are we actually going into overtime? Really? How long? How long? Are we? No OT. They lied to us.
I didn't think they were. OT did not seem appropriate.
We've gone to OT, I think, one time that I've...
6 of hearts would be sick right here. Oh, that just kills a lot of action.
Don Duo, you're so adorable. You're always getting kicked off our stream tonight. I like it. It's so rebellious.
Arthur's on tilt. That's why he's trying so hard.
I'm really sad. Like, I feel like we can kick Jake out of the booth tomorrow. Maybe we can do this again.
Again, you kicked me out of the booth.
Good that comes out of it for sure. Not easy, but what is, you know? What is easy that matters?
That's a good point. David O flops a flush. I don't think he's going to get any action
Two-way street draw.
True. Oh, I guess go
We have
check,
it all
check.
in for $155. I think. Yeah? I think he had.
Oh, yeah, okay. So David's going to get a little bit of money. It's a spot where AC's aggression might pay off if Mike had a little bit stronger hand here.
Yeah.
I don't see Mike calling him down too often with a pair of threes.
Right.
But
even if AC happened to have like Queen Jack there and was betting with the overcards plus straight draw, he still improves. He's never going to be in that great shape.
yeah, firing twice. It's just like the perfect card.
Non-believer again.
Yeah.
One more card, please.
Maybe Mike also thinks there's some bluff equity with certain river cards.
Well, if you didn't believe him on the turn, the splash didn't really change anything. So, AC is putting on the trap, I guess. He's setting the trap. The spades miss.
I like that move if he's calling. Well, okay, so like I'm saying this knowing Mike isn't at the straight necessarily, but
I think with this
check
hand,
calling pretty much any size bet here.
for sure. I think with this hand exactly, like just might want to take a showdown since it can be like ace king type hands. I don't think it's that good of a bluff card.
What's up, Master C? How you doing?
Who am I to say here? Because
Mike
I've been surprised several times this evening.
Mike is definitely
He's turning
able
into
to bluff.
like a
Wow.
snap call.
Snap.
But there's not too many fast
How does
snap
he
calls.
not turn it over? Oh, okay, I was like,
He's shocked to see that strong of a
he
hand.
snap called. He took a while to show it, but he snap called.
He's like, this is what you have? A pair of threes? I can beat a pair of threes.
Had a guy in the poker room at Aria that blank.
Underscore fill in the blank. I feel like you can fill in
I
a lot
have
of those
so
blanks.
many
Yeah.
fill in the blanks, but I'm not going
yeah,
to.
I feel like we could go down a very slippery slope with that. I'm sure things have gone down in the casino.
One of my favorite parts about working or living with someone who kind of has or is involved in this is what has happened in this day. I'll be like, please tell me about what has happened. Give me a little bit of a rundown of what your day is like. So, because our lives are so different.
Oh, it's very. I feel like if you have the typical day-to-day office grind job, then your answer is always going to be the same. Like, this is what happened at work. But then when you have a job like that at a casino, you're like, well, today there was actually 3 midgets shitting in a bucket right in the middle of the casino lobby. And like, you're going to get stories like that every day, which is nothing but exciting.
And our lives are very different. We do very different things. We lead very different lifestyles. So
That's awesome.
that's
Yeah,
really
Sean's the guy that we have to like completely lasso around because he's always trying to run away yelling gamble and go to the
Where
nearest
did you
table.
go?
I know. So Ben here with top pair of aces, way the best against Frank's tens and Mike P's queen jack. Mike P. I'm sorry, Ben first to act. Oh my God. Dingle Bopper. It's funny because it's true. You're absolutely correct. At least I haven't admitted to more incriminating activity this stream like I usually do within the first 10 minutes. So they're like, wow, we have so much blackmail information on you so quickly. So the heart on the turn actually brings a potential flush draw for Frank, which means if another heart peels, he would have the best hand here. So Frank, if another heart peels, it puts 4 of these hearts out here. And if Frank gets a heart, then he's going to have the best hand because he'll have a flush. Which a flush would beat a straight.
Yes, it would.
You
and
got this.
I totally have learned that.
You got this. It's easy game. And then once you start learning it, you can have all these mountains of chips like Mike has right there. Yeah.
My life as a poker player.
My life as a poker player. Which is, how do I cash out? I want to get out. Give me one of those plastic chip thingies. I won.
I need a chip thing. I gotta go.
That was awesome. So she basically played poker for like, was it 5 minutes? And she beat one player and the guy was kind of being an ass to her. And so she said, I'm done here. I don't want to play anymore. Give me one of those plastic things I put in all my chippies and I'm getting out of here. And it was the best. Everybody at the table was like, dude, why are you pissing off this girl? And she's leaving. She's awesome. And she's like, whatever, we're done here. You can blame it on that guy. It was the best.
Oh God.
So you're up $12 in your poker career.
Up $12 in my entire poker career.
I guarantee you that's more than probably, I don't know, 70, 80%. Well, all of us, 70, 80% of the poker players out there, but sure, all of us. We'll go with it. 11 out of 10 Dennis recommend. No, I'm just kidding.
It was by far one of the funniest times.
You guys are the best. Remember, Osmati Games, what's going on, says, remember, quote, don't be that guy. Don't do it.
Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy.
Actually, I was hanging out with Master C in the chat recently, who you can see they're playing at the game, I believe in seat 7 or 6. And it was pretty funny. I said, you know how everybody has that one-up friend? The one-upper who like one-ups you? And the second the second I...
Justin will find out. Let's find out. Depends on who's next level.
You don't like me?
No, it's not about you.
It's not about me?
It's not personal. It's not personal. 125.
Who do you think Raj taught how to play poker.
The next person on the list is not here, and then Chris is after him. How much? Rob, how much? Hey, you guys want to do a pool here?
Yeah, you all give me $100. I'll let Chris run with your fans.
I'll give you $100.
Well, he can just give me 700.
So you went from 6 something to 7.
All right, if everyone gives me 50. No. You give me 100. He gives me 100. And
Wait, what's he doing?
You know he's not gonna give it to him.
You both give me 100. Dave gives me 100, and Chris Moneymaker gives me $200. He's next.
Go ask him.
I don't care enough about it to do it.
Go ask him. Let's see.
I guarantee. I lay you 3-1. He doesn't.
Okay, something a little bit more reasonable than that.
You got, I mean, no, you're not very good at haggling. You haven't given any counter offers yet.
I will.
So disgusting.
Oh, that's sick. Oh my God.
How do you do it? I'm just gonna raise on the button with 10-5. Right? How do you do it?
Enter a pair.
Of course, Mike makes a hand. He's been doing this for a year straight.
Like a
It'd
lifetime.
be funny if it was like, you know,
Somebody else.
or like a month, but it's been a year.
And of course you have the
year.
You got the queen.
He's been doing this shit for a year.
Oh my God, that's outstanding. You have to have a queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be the perfect.
You gotta pay me out. Oh my God.
Robert turns it down. They're offering Robert $100 a piece in order to give up his seat to Chris and Moneymaker to get in the game, and Robert says no.
Who's Robert?
C3 right there, buddy.
Robert, you motherfucker.
That is awesome.
I hate Robert. Me and Robert are mortal enemies.
That is great. That is so great. I love that I can get these like live behind the scenes updates. Like, let me tell you what's really going on here. And Robert's like, I've been watching this game. Hell no, I'm not giving up the seat. Maybe $1,000 a player, I'll give up this seat.
That's bullshit, man. Robert. All right, we're gonna root for Robert to lose. That's the new theme of the stream, yeah. Robert. Sorry, we just got off your whole topic of Justin not. I'm not telling you more wine if that's the case.
You tell him. That's it. If you're stuck in here with us.
It's only 10:01. We still have 45 minutes in here.
True.
That's a long time.
In wine time, that's like an eternity.
Yeah.
King 9 deuce here on the flop, couple of hearts. Set of deuces for Porter just has him crushing this board. Unfortunately, nobody else really has much. You have Mike P with mid pair, and then you have, I guess, fours by JP.
Porter's gonna win. If David wins, it's gonna be the biggest pot of the night.
Yeah.
Are we gonna analyze?
David is more than capable of running hard.
I'm stuck in this booth.
Set of deuces.
Casey needs more wine. Scapegoat. They're like, wow, Casey, you need like 7 bottles of wine that stream. That was weird.
Justin's watching the stream, by the way. Oh, but, to Grey Wolf, to answer your question, I am going to be in Run It Up Reno, but it's actually in October, not November, I think. I'm pretty sure. So my schedule is October.
You pretty much, just like you said, the hardest part, you just got to make the flights, right? You got to make the flights.
I don't have to make the flights. Someone does that for me.
Oh, that's even better. No, I mean like actually physically make it to the flight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that part, that's the rough part.
I have to do that. And they're not private flights. Right? I
No.
fly commercial and shit.
I know, people think like, oh yeah, you must have your own jet, right? What the fuck, man? Am I a billionaire? Like,
Yeah,
what just...
I won $2.5 million like 80 years ago.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Half of it goes to taxes. Like, guys, we're good here. And we heard about the after party at the club you told us last time, so we all know how that went down.
And then
Mike P raises
Oh,
to
yeah.
325 on the turn here. With all he has is a gut shot straight draw.
Yeah, Mike. What does he have?
Oh, I'm sorry. He has a pair of 9s.
Nailed it. And Porter's got all the deuces.
Yeah,
all he has is a pair of 9.
All right, and so I'm just going to chime in for like these 2 hands because I want to distinguish between like what I think you should be looking at, and it's all about whether his phone's on the table or not. When that was, we all know that all of the hands where his phone's not on the table is after July the 18th. But if somebody tries to use this kind of situation, look at this hand. Look at what he's doing. That's what's important. What he does after this, if you just know that right there is the cheating sign. That is when he's cheating. Right there it is. It's in front of us. Why does he call this $20 bet against 3 nines? It's a $20 bet, that's why. It's a $20 bet against top set with the backdoor straight draw. He turns top pair, and he mucks the damn thing. He turns top pair, and then he mucks. But why did he call? Because he wanted to turn a straight against this guy. $20 to see that turn card. $1,000 some dollars behind. Easily. That is exactly what happened here. Gives him the little old laugh that you get. That laugh only pretty much exists like here. All this actions and hands on the head and I can't believe what you had. This is him pretending. Here's another hand. And this is the same kind of situation. In this hand, he never looked down, but watch him start trying to look. He starts trying to look, but the action's on him on this hand. He tries to look down. He can't see it. Watch. He's going to try to look again. He's going to try to look one more time before he mucks it. He wants to look so bad. He's like, how can I fold? Like, I need to be able to see this right now. I can't see it. He throws his hand away. Watch what he does. Backs the whole fucking chair up, bends over, and when he sees that he folded the best hand, look at him. Look how it bothered him. Watch him rub his cheek right here. Look. He didn't know. He didn't look at the cards. He wasn't looking at them every hand. Like right here. It's when he looks. It's about when he looks. He folds a chop pot right here. This is after the 201 mark. Phone's off the table. How do you explain him folding a chop? Well, then look at when he looks at his cards. When I say looks at his cards, I mean the fucking cards in his lap, not the cards in his hand. And that's what he did there. He tried to look. He couldn't see. Obviously, he looked twice and then mucked. And then after the hand was mucked, backed the chair up, took a look, pulls his hat down, turns his head sideways, and rubs his face. And he knows at that moment, fuck, I wish I could have seen that one. I wish I'd have seen that one because, boy, I'd have jammed it on him right here. I'd have jammed it into all 3 of them right here, and I'd have looked like a genius, right? So that's all I'm trying to point out is this change in his behavior with the phone and the way he behaves at the table, his body language, looking down into his lap, all that stuff starts on July the 18th at the 201 mark. And from that moment on, all you got to do is look at when he looks down. What point in the hand does he look down? And every time it lines up with a decision that he makes or a reaction that he gets. Every single time. And so, do what y'all will with it. Have a nice day and good luck, everyone. Take it easy.